Hello everyone, can you guys hear me? Alright, so we'll just start in a minute. I had my AS level quadratics and binomial test today. Thanks for your videos. Alright, good to hear that, Hamdan. Happy for you. Walaikum Assalam, Ibrahim. I'm uploading binomial videos every day. In fact, I uploaded a video today also. Sir, whenever you're free, could you please make a separate video about A-level differentiation and integration? Are you talking about AS level or A2 level? I think, judging by the message you sent earlier, it must be AS. So as far as AS level videos are concerned, so binomial is next in line. Once I'm through with binomial, then inshallah I will be doing equations of circles. Yeah. Okay, so I will be doing past paper questions mostly, okay, and we're gonna try and learn the concepts through past paper questions, because at this point in time I'm assuming that you guys must be done with the concepts and are probably focusing on past paper questions, okay? If you aren't done with the concepts, by the way, then there's nothing to worry about. You can learn the concepts through past papers also, okay? So I've highlighted a couple of questions, not a couple of questions. We're going to try and solve as many questions as we can in today's class, okay? I've handpicked a couple of questions, so we're going to try and solve those. Let's see how much we can cover in 1 hour. Thank you so much for this video, my first math. Yeah, so this live stream actually is primarily for students who are appearing in October, November. And let's hope and pray that this video helps you guys do well in the exam. Anyway, so it's 8:01, let's start. So as you guys know, the topic for today is permutations and combination. This, by the way, is a compiled PDF which contains all the topics, all the questions of permutations and combinations from 2011 up until 2021. I've left 2022 because I'm hoping that one of these days we'll do a live stream where we solve that past paper. But anyway, we'll see. The question from 2022, you won't find this in this PDF, okay? But everything before that you will. Anyway, so this is a question that I'm going to solve. Like I said, I've highlighted a couple of questions that we're going to solve, inshallah. So this is from October, November 2022, paper 1, variant 3, okay? So these type of questions are basically questions where you're given numbers, okay? And you're asked to, and you're also given a certain set of conditions, like for example, the question might say that what if it's even, what if it's odd, or what if it's greater than a certain number, or maybe smaller than a certain number, okay? So you gotta follow those conditions and make numbers and find the permutations accordingly, okay? So what you should remember is that whenever you have a question that involves numbers, what we use is permutation. Anyway, so let's read the question and see how we're gonna solve this. So the question here says a 5-digit number is made using the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright. No digit may be used more than once in any 5-digit number. Find how many such 5-digit numbers are odd and greater than 70,000. Okay. So once you read the question, remember it's a 5-digit number that we're making over here. So we start by making 5 blanks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now, so if the number, what are the two conditions in this question? Let's read. The two conditions are that the number must be odd, and at the same time it should also be greater than 70,000. Okay, so if I want to make the number greater than 70,000, that means in the first place, looking at the digits that we have, in the first place we could have 7, 8, or 9, okay? But at the same time, we want the number to be odd. So that means in the last place, we could have 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now, the problem here is that if you look at the first and the last blank closely, you'll notice that you have 7 here and here. And you'll notice that you have 9 in both places. So what we call this, well, what I like to call this is basically a conflict situation. Okay, that means there's conflict. You can't have one number in both the places because the question clearly says that no digit may be used more than once. Yes, I like to call that a conflict situation. Okay, so nothing to worry about. We can always fix this. Okay, so how do we fix that? So we fix this by doing it one by one. Okay, Now let me tell you what I mean by that. So in the first place, we fix 7, okay? No other number can come in the first place other than 7, okay? That means, and why are we fixing 7? The reason why we're fixing 7, remember, is because we want the number to be greater than 70,000. So you can have 7, you gotta have 7 in the first place in order to make sure that it's greater than 70,000. Now at the same time, if you wish the number to be odd, that means you can have 1 or 3 or 5 or even 9 in the last place. Okay, so you could have 1, 3, 5 and 9 in the last place. So that means in the first place we have 1 out of 1 options. Okay, so that's 1p1. In the last place we have 4 options, out of which we will only select 1. Okay, and what goes on in between we don't really care about, because the condition has been met. So anything goes in between, it's not going to affect the condition because we've already met that, like I mentioned. So let's see how many numbers we started off with. We started off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. We started off with 10 numbers. Okay, so 1 is gone in the first digit and 1 is gone in the last digit. Okay, so that means how many numbers do we have left now? We have 8 numbers, and we have room for how many? We have room for 3. So that means 8p3. And why exactly are we using p here? Why are we not using c? Because whenever we're making numbers, the arrangement is important, and that is why we use permutation and not use combination. Anyway, so don't think this is the end of the question, because it's not. So when you solve this, what you end up with is 1,344. Okay, but like I said, it doesn't end over here. Okay, because you can have 8 in the first place also. Okay, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to fix 8 in the first place. Okay, and that means in the last place we could have 1, 3, 5, 7 or even 9 now. Okay, now we have 5 options to choose from for the last digit. So in the first place it's 1p1, in the last place it's 5p1. Okay, and in between anything goes, we don't really care about. That means 8p3. Okay, echo. Okay, is there echo? Okay, I just realized that I have 2 microphones functioning at the same time. Okay, is it fine now? Gotta be fine. Okay, so we have 1. Please let me know if the echo is gone now. Okay, thank you. So 1p1 into 8p3 into 5p1. Alright, so this is equal to what? This is equal to 1680. Okay, now the last possibility. And what is the last possibility? The last possibility is that you can have 9 in the first place. Okay, so if we have 9 in the first place, that means we can have 1, 3, 5 or 7 in the last place. Yeah, you could do that. You could multiply 1344 by 2 directly for both 7 and 9. You could totally do that. So 1p1 into 4p1. Okay, and what happens in between? We don't really care. Anything goes. So 8p3. Okay, now if you look at it, if you look at the two, if you look at the first one and the last one, you'll notice that they're both the same technically. Okay, this arrangement and this arrangement is the same. You have 1p1 into 8p3 into 4p1. Here also you have 1p1 into 8p3 into 4p1. So what do we have over here? We have exactly the same thing, which is 1344. Okay, now you sum it up. Is there any other possibility that you guys can think of? Yes, no? Yep, you add it all. And what do you get? You get 4,368. And there you go. I've written the answers over here, so we can check as we go along and fix anything if we do wrong. Okay, so that's it. We're done with this question. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, so the next question is, let me see what's the next question that I've shortlisted. So the next question I've shortlisted for you guys is, okay, number 35. Okay, now this is a good question, and this I should mention is from October-November 2019, paper 13. Okay, let's see what it says. It says a 5-digit code is to be chosen from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 Each digit may only be used once in any 5-digit code. Find the number of 5-digit codes that may be chosen if there are no restrictions. Okay, so when there are no restrictions, that's pretty easy to work with. So you have 9 numbers to choose from. And how many are you going to choose? You're going to choose 5. But remember, since you're making a code, whenever you're making a code, the order is important. Okay, so for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say it's the password of a phone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is not the same thing. That is why we're going with permutation. So 9p5 is equal to 15,120. Yes, this will be posted on YouTube after class, so don't worry about it. Okay, part 2. Part 2 says the code is divisible by 5. Okay, question for you guys. If you want a number to be divisible by 5, what is the one thing you're going to make sure of? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what should a number look like for us to say that it's divisible by 5? Last digit must be either 5 or 0. That's correct. Good job. So since we have just 5 here, so that means we can have just 5 here. Okay, we don't have 0 over here. So that means how many options do we have for the last digit? We have 1 to choose from and room for 1 also. Okay. What about the numbers before that, before the last digit? Well, anything goes. Okay, we don't really worry about that. So 5 is out of the numbers that we're choosing from. So that means now we have 8 numbers to choose from. And we have room for how many? We have room for 4. So that means 8p4. Let's work this out. 8p4 into 1p1 is indeed equal to 1,680. There you go. Okay. Now comes part 3, which says the code is even and greater than 70,000. Okay, so this is very similar to the question that we just did. Even and greater than 70,000. All right, let's see. So it's a 3-mark question. So I'll tell you guys what. Try and learn to pick hints from the question as to if a question can be done in a single step or if a question will require multiple steps. So if this is a 3-mark question, what does that tell you? That means this question must require multiple steps before we're able to solve it. Okay, that's why it's 3 marks. Okay, so if the code is even and it's greater than 70,000, this must also be a conflict situation, by the way. Okay, so if you want to make sure it's greater than 70,000, that means you can have 7 in the first place. Okay, you can have 8 in the first place, and you could have 9 in the first place. Okay, but in the last place, you could have 2, since you want to make sure that the number is also even. So you could have 2, 4, 6, or 8. Now the conflict is between, this is a conflict situation, but you don't really have to spread this out as much as we did the last one. Okay, it's just 8 that's conflicting. Okay, so here's what we'll do. So what we'll try and do is we'll try and have 7 or 9 in the first place. Okay, so that means we have 2 options to choose from and room for 1. So that's 2p1. Okay, now because we have 7 or 9 that could go in the first place, that means we could have 2, 4, 6, or 8 that could go in the last place. Okay, so we have 4 options to choose from and room for 1. Okay, so that's 4p1. Okay, now in between, anything goes. Okay, so that means we started off with how many digits? We started off with 9 digits, and now 2 of them are gone. So we have 7 to choose from and room for 3. So that means 7p3. So let's work this out. What will be the other possibility? Question for you guys. So this is 1680. All right, what would be the other possibility? What is the one thing that I have to consider? Yes, starts with 8. Good job. So it starts with 8. All right. So that means you could have 2, 4, or 6 in the last digit. Whenever you're given a certain condition, always settle the condition first. Okay. So in the first digit, you have 1 option to choose from and you have room for 1 also. In the last digit, you have 3 options to choose from and room for 1 also. In between, anything goes. So that means 7p3 because you started off with 9 digits, 2 of them are gone. So that means now you just have 7 left and room for 3. So 1p1 into 7p3 into 3p1. Okay, so that's 630. Now what do? We sum them up. Let's see what do we get. 1680 plus 630 is 2300. 310. And there you go, fellas. That's your final answer. Okay. Part B. Part B says, okay, so these kind of questions are honestly my favorite questions, okay? So it says a team of 6 people is to be chosen. So quick question. Whenever you're selecting a team, what do? Do you go for permutations or do you go for combinations? Thank you. Some tricks edits. Pretty sure that's not your real name. Yeah, you go for combination, okay? So A playing with B and B playing with A is the same thing, all right? It's the same set of people. Okay. So no restrictions. All right, whenever you have no restrictions, so you look for how many people there are that you're selecting from and how many people there are that you're selecting, okay? So you have 8 men and 6 women to choose from, okay? So that's 14 in total, and you're selecting 6, okay? So what does that mean? That means 14 C6, and that's it. That's your answer. 14 C6, which is equal to 3003. Okay, there are no women in the team. Okay, so if there are no women in the team, that means you're only selecting from the 8 men that you have. Okay, yeah, part 2 is kind of sexist. So in part 2, you're just selecting 6 from the 8 men. Okay, so that's 8C6, and that's it. 8C6, so that's 28. Okay. All right, part 3. Okay. Now, part 3 says a team of 6 people is to be. Now, let's read the question, and let's read the question. Let's read what's written in part B, and then let's read what part 3 says. So, a team of 6 people is to be chosen from 8 men and 6 women. There are a husband and wife who must not be separated. Okay, so in how many ways can a husband and wife not be separated? Question for you guys. Does that mean that both of them have to be in the team? Yeah, exactly. So there are 2 ways, yes. Amsa Baloch, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Why must a husband and wife not be separated? Well, that's not something for us to worry about, okay? But there are 2 ways, okay? Either we include them or we exclude them, right? Okay, so let's work out those possibilities one by one, okay? Let's see that they're both included, okay? Now, if they're both included, okay, remember that the total number of men that you were choosing from was 8, right? Let me make sure of that. Yeah, total men 8, and remember the total women that you were choosing from were 6, okay? Now, if both of them are in the team for sure, okay, so that means, and by both of them I mean one husband and one wife, okay, which means one man and one woman, okay? So that means we subtract that one husband, okay, the one husband, we subtract that. That means now the new total of men that we're choosing from is equal to 7, okay, and we subtract that one wife, okay, minus 1, so that's 5. So that means now the new total of women that we're choosing from is 5, okay? So together that makes up what? Together that makes up, what's 7 plus 5? 7 plus 5 is 12, okay? Now here's a trick question. Not a trick question, but something that you might end up falling for. How many people are we selecting now? Given that we were initially selecting 6, okay, but now there's a husband and wife who must not be separated. So what are we doing now? Yep, that's correct. Okay, so how does this work? 12C4. Okay, and what's 12C4 equal to? 12C4 is equal to 495. Okay, so is that it? Is that the final answer, or is there something else we need to consider? Is, although the answer is right in front, okay. No, that's not 4095. It's, yes, not included. Okay, so I'll tell you where the 4 came from. So 4 came from basically here. So remember, how many people are we choosing? We're choosing 6 people. Now, if 2 people are in the team for sure, okay, That means now we're not really selecting 6 people, now we're just selecting 4. Okay, so I'll explain this again. Remember, there were 8 men to choose from and 6 women to choose from, and a total of 6 people to be chosen. Okay, so if 1 man and 1 woman has to be in the team for sure, so that means, so imagine you have 8 people, 8 men standing and 6 women standing. Okay, so if 1 husband and 1 wife have to be in the team for sure, so you're going to exclude them. Okay, you're going to exclude the 1 husband and exclude the 1 wife and say that, okay, you two are already selected. Okay, that means you're no more selecting 6 people, you are now selecting only 4. And you're no more selecting from 14, you're actually selecting from 12. Because remember, you've already selected 2 people. Okay, so how does that work? That works by 12C4. Okay, now, what if both of them are excluded? See, the thing is, they just don't want to be separated. Okay, it doesn't matter whether they're in the team or outside the team. Whatever they do, they have to do it together. Okay, so if they're in the team, they're going to be together. If they're not in the team, both of them are going to be excluded from the team. Okay, so if both of them are excluded from the team, that means you're not selecting, they're not present in the total anymore. Okay, but you're still selecting how many people? You're still selecting 6 people. Okay, so think about it and tell me, how does that work? Yes, 12C6. Thank you, Anas. So remember that we were selecting the total men and women that we were selecting from were 14. Okay, now we exclude the 1 husband and 1 wife. Okay, so that's 2. So that means now we're selecting from 12 people. Okay, so this is the new total. Now we're selecting from 12 people. And how many people are we selecting now? We're selecting 6. Okay, so how does that work? That works through 12C6. Now let's see what's that. So 12C6 is 924. What we do now is that we sum them up. So the total ways is 495 plus 924, which is equal to what? Should be equal to 1419. There you go. Okay, so the thing about permutation and combinations is that whatever question that you're presented with, make sure that you put some thought into it and consider all possible ways in which you can meet a certain condition. Okay, a lot of times I'm sure what would happen to a lot of students is that they will end up forgetting about this condition, that both of them are excluded. Yes, this is for 0606 also. So IGCSE Math and AdMaths are honestly the same. Okay, there's nothing different in them. Okay, so yeah, they're the same. How do you get C? What do you mean how I got C? We're using combination because we're selecting a team. Sir, can you do question 36 next, please? Okay, so the thing is, I can, but let me get through the questions that I've selected, okay, that I'm going to solve in today's class, because I've selected them by looking at the concepts that each question contains. Okay, and once you do those concepts, you will be through with, once you're through with all the concepts, and then I'll do a couple of questions that you guys want me to solve. Okay, on the calculator. Oh, okay. That's kind of shocking. I hope you're not appearing for October, November in this session. So you get calculator, you get C in the calculator by pressing shift and the division sign. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, but it's this key right here, just below AC. Is it possible to get B if I know the concepts and haven't done past papers till now? If I grind the next couple of days? Ali, that's a difficult question for me to answer. I really hope you do end up getting, I hope you end up exceeding your expectations or exceeding your target, but I really don't know where you stand right now, so I really can't say anything. Okay. Anyway, so here's question number 34, fellas. This, by the way, is from October, November 2018, paper 23, which means paper 2, variant 3, okay? And it's the same for IGCSE and GCE, it's the same, okay? So let's read the question, see what it says. It says a squad of 20 boys, which includes 2 sets of twins, is available for selection for a cricket team of 11 players. Calculate the number of different teams can be selected if there are no restrictions. Okay, so no restrictions means that, so you have 20 people to choose from. Okay, and how many to choose? 11. So 20C11. That's pretty simple. So 20C11. Syntax error? Okay. Why are you getting syntax error? So just write a value and then C and then 11. Like for example, in this case, write 20, C and 11, press equals to, and that's it. You'll get your answer. So this becomes 167,960. Okay, there you go. That's your answer. Okay, now here's something interesting. It says both set of twins are selected. Does the cricket team have Babar Azam? I don't know. Anyway, so it says both sets of twins are selected. What does that mean? By the way, how many people are two sets of twins? How many people make two sets of twins? 4. Yeah, exactly. So here's how this works. Now remember, this is a 2-mark question. Okay, so that means you got to put some thought into it. Okay, so the total people that you were initially selecting from were 20. Okay, and now since both set of twins are included in the team, that means there are 4 people that are already selected. Okay, so you're going to subtract them from your total, and now your new total is 16. Okay, now initially we were selecting how many people? We were selecting 11 people. Okay, now since 4 of them are already selected, so that means now there's no need to select 11 people. Now you're selecting the new selecting amount. Okay, whatever you want to call it, is actually 7. Okay, so what does that mean? That means there are 16 people to choose from and 17 people to choose. So how does that work? 16C7, work it out, and you have 11,440. There you go. Yep, I can see that most of a couple of you already mentioned this, 16C7, and yeah, that's it. That's how this works. Okay, part 3 is where it gets slightly interesting. Okay, now anyone who'd like to help me out in part 3 and tell me how it works? For C2 times 2, 11,440. That's the answer to the previous part. Although the answer is right over here, but 1 from each set of twins is selected. No, it's so when you're selecting, you're going to select the entire pair. Okay, you're not going to select one person from the set of twins. Okay, 18C9, from 4 twins we choose 2. Okay, I can see you guys are putting some thought into it. I appreciate that. 1 child from 4 children. Not really. Okay, all right, so whatever you thought of, okay, I'd like you guys to quickly write it down and work it out. Okay, and then in the end you can compare my working with yours. Okay, so let's give this set of twins a name. Okay, so let's say there's one set which I'm going to call AA. Okay, since twins usually look alike. Okay, so let's just call them AA. All right, this is set 1, and let's say there's another set called BB. Okay, so let's call this set 2. Okay, now so basically let's first understand the question before we dive into the solution. So when it says one set of twins is selected but neither twin from the other set is selected, okay, so that means either you're going to select AA, okay, and if you've selected AA you're not going to select BB, okay, or you're going to select BB, which means you're not going to select AA. Okay, so you're either going to select set 1 or you're going to select set 2. Okay, and if you're selecting set 1, you're not going to select set 2, and if you're selecting set 2, you're not going to select set 1. Okay, that's one hell of a tongue twister. Anyway, so here's how this works. Let's say that there's one scenario where AA is selected. Okay, so now remember you had 20 people to choose from. Okay, and now 2 of them are gone, which is equal to 18. Okay, now that does not mean that you have 18 people to choose from. Okay, because this 18 contains this set B right here. Okay, this set of twins right here. So that means now You're going to further subtract 2, and now you have 16. So that means now you have 16 people to choose from. All right. And since AA is selected, so that means 2 people are already selected, and now you are no more selecting 11 people. You're actually selecting how many? You're actually selecting 9. So how does that work? That works through 16C9, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 11,440. Okay. So why did I subtract 2 in the first place? I subtracted because I had to make sure that AA is selected. Okay. And why did I subtract another 2? Because I had to make sure that BB is not selected. Okay. Now the same works the other way around. Okay. What if this set of twins is selected? So for this, it's the exact set of calculations. Okay. You will do the exact same thing, which is 11,440. Okay. And now the total number of ways in which you can do this is basically what is 11,440 times 2, or 11,440 plus 11,440, which is equal to 22,880. There you go. That's your answer, fellas. So, okay, here's a little something for you guys. I want you guys to rate this part, okay, the difficulty level. Okay, so what I said was, I said I want you guys to rate this question, rate the difficulty level of this question on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, 1 being like super duper, easy piece of cake, and 10 being like super difficult. Four, 5, 8.5. Okay, that's really difficult. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this question a good 6 or 7. Why do I look sad? Okay, I'm not really sad. Yeah. Anyway, I think 4, 5, not 4, 5. I'll probably go with 7. Yeah. So is it still lagging or is it fine now? Okay, so I think Ali, the problem is at your end. Anyway, let's resume. So here's part 4. Again, put some thought in part 4 and tell me how you guys are going to do part 4. So it says exactly 1 twin from each set of twins is selected. 4C1 into 19C10. Okay, now I'll tell you the funny thing about that. You might get the correct answer. No, actually, no, you're not going to get the correct answer. 4C1. Let me see. 4C1 into 19C10. No, that's not the correct answer. Yes. So whoever this is, Trek, you're on. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, so I'll quickly explain how this works. So here's one set of twins, AA. Here's another set of twins, BP. Okay. So since you're only going to select one from AA, okay, let's call it set 1. So that means that can be done 2C1 number of ways. Okay. And since you're only going to select one person from BP, okay, so that can be done 2C1 number of ways. Okay. Now there are how many people to choose from? Now there are 16 people to choose from, because remember you started off with 20 people. Okay, now 2 sets of twins are now gone. So that means now you have 16 people to choose from, and you've already selected 2 people. Okay, so that means now you're no more selecting 11 people. You're actually selecting 9. Okay, so in how many ways can you select 9 people from a total of 16? So that's 16C9. Okay, so you work this out. So 2C1 times 2C1 into 16C9. So that gives you 45,760. And there you go, fellas. That's the answer. Okay, so This was quite a challenging question, no? Okay, so the next question that I have for you guys is actually even more challenging. At least one part to the question. Okay. So this is question number 33. This is from October November 2018, paper 2, variant 2. Okay, let's see what it says. Yeah, this was a tough question. Sir giving main character vibes. Okay, I'm not too well versed with that, so you're gonna have to explain what you mean by that. Anyway, so here's question number 33. Let's see what it says. It says a 5-character code is to be formed from 13 characters shown below. Each character may be used only once in a code. Letters A, B, C, D, E, F. The numbers are from 1 to 7. Okay, find the number of different codes in which no two letters follow each other and no two numbers follow each other. Okay, so what should the arrangement be like if no two letters should follow each other and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no two numbers should follow each other? What should the arrangement be like? Question for you guys. Thank you, Ali. Number first. Okay, then. Thank you, Hamza. You're welcome. Happy to help. Okay, number first, then what? Okay, can you repeat your question? So my question is, can you tell me what the question means by no two letters follow each other and no two numbers follow each other? Okay, so, well, most of you have given the correct answer. So basically, if you have a number first, what can you have next? You can have a letter, okay, and then a number again, and then a letter, and then a number. Okay, so does that make 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, so how many numbers do you have for the first place? You have 7 numbers to choose from and room for 1. Okay, so that's 7p1. Okay, or you don't really need to write p1, by the way, 7p1, since it's equal to 7, so we can just write 7. And how many letters do you have to choose from? You have 6 letters to choose from. Okay, so that means 6 options. And then, so let's do the numbers first. Okay, so 7 numbers for the first position, 6 numbers for the third position, and 5 numbers for the last position. Okay, and then as far as the letters are concerned, so let's do that with a different color. Okay, in fact, let's do that with the same color. So initially there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters to choose from, and then since 1 is gone, okay, now you have how many letters to choose from? Now you have 5 letters to choose from. So we multiply this, see what do we get. So 6 times 6, in fact, I was going to do that mentally, but I don't think I'm capable of that. 7 times 6 times 6 times 5 times 5. So that is equal to, okay, why am I getting a syntax error? Okay. Let's see, 7 into 6 into 6 into 5 into 5. So we're looking at 6,300, which clearly is not the final answer. So what are we missing out on? Yes. So there's no way, I mean, no, in the question, it does not say that you should start with a number first. Okay, so that means we can also start with a letter. Okay, and if you're starting with a letter, what should come next is a number. So letter, number, letter, number, letter. How many letters do you have to choose from? 6, and then 5, and then 4. How many numbers do you have to choose from? You have 7, and then 6. So you multiply this, see what you get. So 6 into 7 into 5 into 6 into 4 is 5040. So if you sum this up, hopefully that's going to be 11,340. Yep, 11,340. There you go. That's the same answer. Is it? Yep, it's the same as 7p3 and 6p2. That's correct. Okay. All right. Here's part B. Part B says, okay, so this is an interesting question. Part B says, a netball team of 7 players is to be chosen from 10 girls. 3 of these 10 girls are sisters. Okay, so this is a lot like that twins question. Or maybe not, actually. Let's see. Find the number of different ways in which the team can be chosen if the team does not contain all 3 sisters. Okay. Why is the last 2 numbers? The last 2 aren't numbers. It's a number and a letter. Okay. All right. So first of all, I want you guys to help me out here, that you have 10 people here, okay? And out of these 10, there are basically 3 sisters. Okay, so that means there are 7 others, 7 regular people. Okay, and 3 of them are sisters. So 7 sisters. Oh, sorry, 3 sisters, 7 others. Okay, so it's always a good idea to sort of look at the data that you have, okay, and arrange it nicely, okay. All right, so my question was that how many ways can you fulfill the condition that the question has put forward, okay? And I can see that some of you have already answered that. Good Boy says that there are 3 cases, either 1 sister or 2 or 0. That's correct. Edwin Sam says 1 sister, 2 sisters, or no sisters at all. Spot on. And Nasiha says 3 cases, and some tricks edits also says 3 cases, and there's Human who also says 3 ways. Okay, yeah, so you guys are all pretty much spot on. Okay, so let's one by one see what those 3 ways are and fulfill them one by one. Okay, so one possibility is that you have 1 sister. Okay, now I'm not following a specific order. Okay, you can follow whatever order you want. Okay, now remember the question says that it does not contain all 3 sisters. Okay, so you can't have 3 because, like I said, the question says that it does not contain all 3 sisters. Okay, so 1 sister, so that means out of 3 you can only have 1. Okay, out of these 3, and that means in order to complete the team of 7, and now that you've already selected 1, where are the remaining 6 going to come from? The remaining 6 are going to come from the 7 others that you have. So that means 7c6. If you work this out, 7c6 is 7, 3c1 is 3, so this is equal to 21. Can anyone tell me what's the purpose of 85? 85 is the final answer. Okay, so I've written the answers over here so we can check as we go along. Okay. Okay, then the other possibility is that you could have 2 sisters in the team. Okay, now 2 sisters mean the 3c2. Okay, and that means you've selected 2 people now. So where are the remaining 5 going to come from? They're going to come from the 7 others. So that's 7c5. Okay, so 7c5 is, well, okay, I can't do that mentally. 7c5 into 3c2. So that's 63. Okay, now what about the third possibility? What do you think will be the third possibility? Yep, none of the 2 sisters. I mean, none of the 3 sisters. So no sister at all. Okay, so that means out of the 3, you're gonna have 0. Okay, and out of the 7, you're gonna have all 7 of them. Okay, so if you work this out, this turns out to be 1. Now if you sum it up, so 3 plus 4 is 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So there you go. 85 is your final answer. Okay, so a quick tip for you guys. I said this before also, and that is that if a question is of 3 marks, so you got to make sure that you give it that level of respect. Okay, and by respect, I don't mean that you write good words about the question. I mean that you sort of tackle it accordingly. Don't look for a shortcut for a 3-mark question. Okay, if there was a shortcut, chances are that's not going to, it wouldn't have been a 3-mark question. Okay, now I'm not saying that's a standard rule. Okay, but that's usually how it works. All right, so it's always a good idea to break it down. We'll look at all the possibilities one by one and then figure out what it's going to be. Okay. So let me see what other question I can solve for you guys. Okay, so someone requested question number 34. I think I'm gonna wait, which one was it? 34? Was it 38? 39? I think it was 38. Okay. Anyway, so let's try and solve this question here. Okay, this is question number 36. Okay, 37, 36. All right. Okay, 36. Let's do question number 36. So it says here a 5-digit code is formed using the following characters. Okay, so let's count the characters. 36 tribute to India all out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 letters to choose from, 6 numbers to choose from, and 3 symbols to choose from. Okay. So it says no character can be repeated in a chord. Find the number of possible chords if there are no restrictions. So remember that you're looking to make a 5-digit chord. So how many total characters do you have to choose from? You have 5 plus 6, which is 11. 11 plus 3, that's 14. Okay, so that means 14. Okay, so question for you guys. What are we going to use? Are we going to use P or are we going to use C? And I want an explanation also, by the way. That is B. Okay, that's a first. You mean P. Yeah, we're going to use permutation. So whenever you're forming a... Okay, no, we're not going to use combination. We're going to use permutation. So whenever you're forming a chord, okay, or whenever you're forming a number, you use permutation. Okay. So 14p5. And how do we do that? Because order matters. Okay, so for example, if let's say the password of your phone is 1234, although I hope that's not. Okay, so if someone tries 4321, is that going to work? It's not, even though it's the same set of digits. Okay, but the reason why it's not going to work is because the order is important. Okay, so if the order is important, that means you got to use permutation. All right, so I hope that made sense to you. So 14p5 is 240,240. That's an interesting number. 240. Yeah. Okay. Here's part 2. Part 2 says the chord starts with a symbol followed by 2 letters. And this, by the way, is a question from October-November 2019. Okay. Paper what? Paper 2, variant 2. A chord starts with a symbol followed by 2 letters and then 2 numbers. Okay. So everything's sort of laid out in front of you. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the chord starts with a symbol. That means how many options do you have to choose from? You have 3 options to choose from. Okay. Followed by 2 letters. So that means okay. So you know what? Instead of writing 3 over here, I should probably write symbol, letter, number. Okay. So how many symbols do you have to choose from? You have 3 symbols to choose from. How many letters do you have? So you have 6 and then 5. And then how many numbers do you have? You have, no wait, as far as letters is concerned, you have 5 and 4. Sorry about that. 5 letters for the first place, 4 letters for the second place. And then for the last 2, you have 6 numbers to choose from for the second last place and 5 for the last place. Okay. So this is a pretty easy question. You just multiply these 2 together, see what you get. 3 into 5 into 4 into 6 into 5. So that's equal to 1800. And you can see that is the correct answer. Okay, sir, when is AS level math live stream? Let's see. You can follow me on Instagram. I will update you there if there is. You're from grade 9 and have been trying to understand what's happening for half an hour. Okay. The other question I forgot was pretty tricky, but this question is super easy. Anyway, okay, so it says the first 2 characters are numbers and no other number appears in the chord. Okay, so let's make 5 blanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, first 2 characters are numbers. How many numbers do you have? You have 6. So this is a number and this is a number. So that means for the first place you have 6 options and for the next place you have 5 options. Okay, I will share a calendar for live streams today, hopefully, and you can check it out from there. Okay, now for the next 3 digits, anything goes. Okay, so for not digits actually, for the next digits. For the next 3 digits, anything goes. So remember, how many options did you have to choose? Or how many what was the total number of characters to choose from? So the total number of characters to choose from were basically 5 plus 6, so that's 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. Okay, let's read the question again. So it says the first 2 characters are numbers and no other number appears in the chord. So remember, you had 14 to choose from. Okay, and now you got to make sure that whatever you have in the next 3 places is either a symbol or a letter. Okay, so what does that mean? That means you have 3 symbols and 6 letters, 3 symbols and 5 letters. Okay, so that means 8. Now if you want a symbol or a letter, so that means you have 8 options to choose from. And how many are you basically selecting? So that's 3. Okay, so let's work this out. 6 into 5 into 8 P3. So that's equal to what? That's equal to 10,080. Why not 6? Why not 6? Because if you choose a number or anything, if you choose it once, you can't choose it again. That's why. Sir, can you upload the paper 2? Okay, so the part 2, I'm thinking that we do a live stream where I do part 2. What do you guys think? What would you guys suggest? Should I do a live stream where I solve part 2, or should I just make a video and then upload it? I've already uploaded part 1 in case you guys haven't seen. And this we're talking about, by the way, we're talking about the May-June 2022 paper 12. Live stream. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so I'll do a live stream and upload that. Okay. When will I do the live stream? Well, I'll announce it on my Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram if you haven't yet. You'll find out. Okay, so that's it. Save for probability and statistics P5 questions are likely to be repeated, because when I check, they often repeat, like for probability central tendency. If you do enough past papers, every question will seem like a repeat from before. So before leaving, can you tell me Babar or Rizwan? Okay, I wish you hadn't asked me this question. That's like choosing between ice cream and soup. You can't do that. Okay. Ice cream is good in its own way, and soup is good in its own way, so you can't choose between the two. Sir, gaining instant IG follow. Well, that's not really the objective here. Hi sir, you said calculator 991EX. Yeah, it's allowed, okay? Don't worry about as long as you can't make graphs in your calculator, it's allowed. Okay, I honestly don't know why they're saying that. Okay, if you remember, I uploaded a post where I clearly mentioned that I got an email from Cambridge clearly mentioning what calculators allowed and what aren't. So why don't you just show them that email and put the case to rest. Before leaving, can you tell me which papers to do for? Well, do as many as you can. Okay, do as many as you can. Any last minute tips? Yeah, get enough sleep. That's my last minute tip for you. Anyway, so that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and also learned the concept, and keep practicing. Permutation, combination, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it, inshallah. This is no magic recipe. Difference between O-level and IGCSE. Well, as far as advanced is concerned, there's no difference. Okay. So this is like math, but with words. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, I know the ones who are appearing in October, November have their exam on Monday. That's exactly why I'm doing this live stream. It's for people who are appearing in October, November. Okay. So that's it, boys and girls. See you on. There's a live stream tomorrow also, by the way. I will upload the calendar on my Instagram. Okay. So take care. Allah Hafiz. You're welcome. Bye bye.